Hey, Shawn Clement here from the Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center. Happy New Year to everybody. We are officially beginning 2011, and this is in response to a lot of the questions I've had over the holidays and looking at the forum. And we're over 1,000 members already in the forum, and things are moving along quite nicely there. And I appreciate all the input from all of you guys. It's been just a blast. And also, you know, from our YouTube perspective as well, I'm going to be answering a couple of very important questions right here in this video. For those of you who think that you're turning around a fixed spine, well, that needs to be visited. And I've got some better close-ups as to how that spine is formed for all you X-Factor enthusiasts out there. This will definitely be a point of reference for you guys. So let's have a look, shall we? Okay, so let's examine this a little closer here, all right? Now, you've got your spine that runs from the back of the head all the way down to the tailbone right here, the sacrum, which connects the two plates of the pelvis at the back. Now, there's your turntable. This is where everything turns. So if we look in the profile view, the center of gravity of your body is basically right about here, where you have equal weight up and down, front to back, and side to side. So this imaginary point is basically what you are swinging around. Now, that imaginary point does move around a little bit as well. It has to. So the way your body coordinates it is by feeling the weight of the arm club unit here hanging from the shoulders. Okay. Now, just as a little sidebar, I want to get a little close up right here and show you what I've been talking about for all you X-Factor fanatics out there. Look at this baby right here. Okay. So right from the tailbone, there's your facet joint. There's the stopper that prevents the spine from twisting. And it goes all the way up. Each vertebrae has its built-in stopper right there to prevent the vertebrae on top of it from twisting. You have 1 degree of buffer. All right, it's not range of motion. It's a buffer zone. Okay, so here it is. Now, when you get up to the thoracic spine, okay, so there they are underneath here. See that little facet right there? Okay, so whether it's thoracic or lumbar, it doesn't matter. The spine is not made to twist. Okay? So now, we can compare this, reach back in your imagination right here, and think about the spine, right, the upper part of the body here, as the mast of a sailboat. And the pelvis right here is where the mast is connected into the sailboat, right? So when the sailboat's mast tips because of the force of the wind, something at the bottom here has to counterbalance and go back. So that would be your tush. Now, what brings the tush back is the fact that these knees have to be bent. And you notice the hip is the same bone as the femur, which is half your knee. So the knee has got to be bent properly, right? You got to have some good flex in those knees to allow this posterior to protrude rearward. What keeps the posterior rearward is the angle that the femur is going to create. So you see that angle right there? You want a decent angle in the femur to prevent you from falling onto your toes. Now, imagine at the top of this mast, you have somebody hanging down from a cable and swinging out over the side of the boat from side to side. All right? So as the person swings underneath the mast, it's going to create some force to pull the mast forward, and that's where the body responds to that. The whole ensemble of the body through the central nervous system will respond to this force and counteract it by protruding or squatting or returning in the opposite direction. Okay? So let's go back to our little swing analogy here. Okay? So to clarify we are not turning around a fixed spine. You can't fix the spine, right? The spine has its stoppers that goes down into the pelvis, and then you have the turntable under the pelvis, which are the ball and sockets of the hips. So when the ball and sockets of the hips turn on top of the legs, so the legs are going to respond to that, the whole spine system will turn around the center of gravity of the body, okay? So there's an imaginary point that you're swinging around. Now the spine has a nice S shape, right? So it's not a straight, ramrod straight like a steel bar type thing. There's an angle to it. So as it pivots on top of the hips, the center of gravity basically is in a perfect world, the center of gravity would stay in place and everything would turn around that center of gravity. But then when you add the arm club unit and you add the centrifugal force of this arm club unit, go back to that analogy of that sailboat. So the mass is bent forward, and then you have the under rudder of the sailboat that tips in the opposite direction, and if it pulls a lot, then you have a team of people that's going to, counterweight the boat in the opposite direction. And then you've got that person swinging at the tip of the mast. So you notice how my body is responding to the weight of that arm club unit. If your body can't feel the weight of the arms and the club swinging underneath those shoulder sockets, it can't perform its God-given ability to respond to centrifugal force. In everything you do, whether you're bowling, swinging a sledgehammer, whatever, your body responds to weight. We live on a planet that has a gravitational force, all right? So the more you're able to feel the weight of this arm club unit, and the more the body understands how to respond to that, man, the more accurate and powerful your golf swing is going to become. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that analogy. It's something that I have seen very commonly throughout the forum and throughout the YouTube. There are a lot of the questions about the fixed spine. So now we know there's no more of this fixed spine. You're not turning around a fixed spine. That is physically impossible. And you can't resist with the lower body and coil the upper body against the lower body. That's physically impossible to do efficiently as well. Okay? Obviously, some people have been able to do it out there, but at the expense of what? Look at the injuries. If it's not the wrist, it's the shoulder. If it's not the shoulder, it's the neck. If it's not the neck, it's the lower spine. If it isn't that, it's one of the hips. So a lot of body parts are being, rattled around out there. And for, this, now we know what the reasons are. Let's go back 100 years and let's look at how Bobby Jones did it and how, Bubba Watson's doing it today, and how Tom Watson at age 59 with a hip replacement from his old swing, right? He was able to outperform all of the young puppies out on the PGA Tour at the British Open. So let's listen to our bodies. Let's be instinctive. Let's have that awareness, all right? So we'll see you in the next video.